What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back at you with another video, and today we are having my first ever official 2023 NFL mock draft. Did two before the 2022 draft, but now everything is in. It is time to dive into this year's class. So if you guys are new, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. This is going to be a great year. I already did a 2-round with Broshmo. You guys can check that out because by the time I post this, it's going to be up already. And that was absolutely fun. Had a blast doing it. So thank you to Broshmo for doing that. It's going to be on his channel. Feel free to go give him some love because, of course, want to show all the love we can to the people of this community because it's a lot of work making sure that we know everything about these prospects. And honestly, I'm just going to be straight up honest with you. I was dying not to do a 3rd round already. And last year at this time, I was not very happy with the 2022 class. So this class has so much potential. Of course, there's going to be guys who return, which will break my heart, but that's okay. Let's get right into the video. Again, guys, feel free to stick around with the community. All links are in the description below because this is going to be a badass year. So let's start off with the number 1 overall pick. This is based on the betting odds as of, I think, May 2nd. So if you guys have an issue with the order, it's not my order. Number 1, we got Bryce Young out of Alabama to the Texans. I think he's the best player in the class. And I think he's not the best. He's the best quarterback in the class. He's undersized at like 190 pounds. That's a little bit of an issue to me, especially since I know Alabama overestimates weight. But, you know, his arm talent is ungodly. I love what he can bring to the table. Guy's going to be an absolute stud. So I have full faith in him. He's better than CJ Stroud, but CJ Stroud has a lot better of a build to him. So I can understand if when all is said and done, CJ Stroud actually ends up panning out to be better. But as of now, there's nothing that scares me about Bryce Young. I really do love what he brings to the table. Number 2, we have CJ Stroud going to the Falcons. Again, you could be saying Desmond Ridder should get a shot here, and honestly, it wouldn't be a terrible idea. But at this point, you're at number 2 overall. The chances there, you don't want to stop your entire franchise's development just because you're like, you know what, we're going to wait and feel this out. Like that's not going to work. It's not. CJ Stroud will be your man at number 2. Love that for him. Number 3, this is weird because obviously you got Josh Pascal as well as Aiden Hutchinson, and now you got Will Anderson as well. Unfortunately, well, 1, you can always have more edge rushers, but 2, there just wasn't somebody available, and I'm not going to do trades just yet. This is my first ever mock this year that's official. So if you're at number 3 and you can get the number 1 player in the class, you do it. You do it. It doesn't matter. You can find a way for Josh Pascal to make an impact elsewhere. And again, like defense wins championships. And if you have Aiden Hutchinson and Will Anderson, hell fucking low. Like it is insane. So I love what Will Anderson and Aiden Hutchinson and Josh Pascal could bring to this team. Again, not exactly the most ideal situation in the world, but I do think that it's certainly worth taking a shot at. Number 4, you got Jalen Carter here out of Georgia. Again, you lost Foley Fatukasi this year. I think Jalen Carter might be my number 2 player in the class when all is said and done. At 19 years of age, he produced like nobody could have even imagined you could at that age. And it was on a very unproductive Georgia defensive scheme. Again, this guy is the real deal. He is special, like more special than Jordan Davis. So love that for him. Number 5, finally the Jags get a wide receiver here. It's Jaxon Smith-Njigba. I think at this point, like he's built 6 foot 200. I think he's like 6 foot 212, something like that. He's a very well built dude, and I think that there are rumors that he could be moving outside, and I hope to God he does. If he does, then this is probably going to be more of his range. But you have to help Trevor Lawrence with something. You have to get him a true number 1, and even if he lines up in the slot full time, he could still be a number 1 weapon. Just really don't think any of the tackles were worth it here. And then you sign Cam Robinson to an extension. Now you have all these other tackles. So line isn't exactly the position to target here. So I love Jaxon Smith-Njigba. I think that he's going to be a great addition to this team. Let's continue on. Number 6, we're sticking to it. Tyler Van Dyke out of Miami. I love TVD. I'm just going to be honest with you. When my quarterback rankings come out, and again, tape will possibly change this, but Tyler Van Dyke might be my number 2. Well, he is confirmed right now to be my number 2 quarterback. I want to look at his size and then his athletic profile a little bit more. I might just go balls to the wall and say he's QB1, but I love Bryce Young so much. I do. Tyler Van Dyke's a ridiculous talent, and I know a lot of people aren't there with him yet, but I am, and I'm willing to be proven wrong. But I absolutely love Tyler Van Dyke, and I hope you guys will end up seeing how damn good of a player he is. Really talented guy. If you're number 6, yeah, you could wait and see if Matt Corral has it, but against the 3rd round pick, I'm not putting my franchise on hold for a 3rd round pick. It's worth taking a shot on. If you're at number 6, you better have played Matt during the season anyways. So I like it right there. Number 7, Giants, you got Will Levis on the board. You have to take him. You're at number 7, and your team is way too good to be at number 7. And I don't think you will be, just straight up. I really don't. And I'll be doing some record predictions over the season as well. And we're going to have some draft recaps coming in soon with people who are insiders in your organization or YouTubers. Again, go to the Twitter and go and find that tweet, man. Comment your favorite YouTubers and then say, like, we should do videos, because I got a couple guys already lined up, and I would love to start expanding and having a 32-man roster to just talk about the draft, because that's going to be really fun, especially since 7-round mocks will be like that much more engaging. I love the guest 7 rounds. So being able to do that with a bunch of people would be great. Regardless, this would be a great pick for the team. Again, Will Levis has so much potential. I'm hoping that he reaches it. This is, again, a projection. Is this going to happen? Probably not. But this is what I hope to. Number 8, you got Kayshon Boutte, wide receiver at LSU. I mean, he's super young, super dynamic. If he didn't get injured last year, we might be talking about him above Jaxon Smith-Njigba. You have to help out Justin Fields in some way, shape, or form. Got 8 wide receivers, actually, in the draft in UDFA. So even though they didn't really invest in the right receivers, they at least tried their best. Number 9, you got Noah Sewell here out of Oregon. I do love Noah Sewell to death, 250 pounds. He just moves extremely smoothly, and he's a mean dude. He's good in coverage, too. I think he's all around one of the better linebackers that we've seen in a while, because he has that size and also has the skill as well. Number 10, you got Brandon Joseph, safety out of Notre Dame. I'm sticking to it. I'm hoping he goes back to Notre Dame, loses a little bit of weight again, get back to his freakish athleticism size, and he can end up being a true difference maker for Notre Dame. I'm just hyped up. I'm hyped up to see him over there in Notre Dame. Number 11, you got Peter Skoronski. Yeah, I think the Steelers, either need to address corner, which this is a good corner class. You could get some starting talent round 2, round 3, but not a good tackle class. And Skoronski, to me, is pretty much the undisputed tackle 1. So for me, I'm definitely going to be going after that. Again, he's also a Northwestern kid, so he's going to be a mean motherfucker. So I love the idea of the Steelers continue to upgrade their offensive line here. Peter Skoronski would be a good first pick for whoever the new GM is at the time. Eli Ricks is next to the Eagles. I think he's going to be a top 5, if not top 10 player on my board. He's a baller. I loved him at LSU. He was going to be my number 1 corner in the first place, but now he's going to Alabama. I very well might be putting him as a top 10, if not top 5 player. Not to mention he's solidified as my number 1 corner. Number 13, if you're not making the playoffs, guys, you have to try to take a shot on a quarterback. Anthony Richardson, AR-15 is his nickname. Yeah, you got to take a shot. This guy's ridiculous as an athlete, crazy powerful arm. I love Jalen Hurts, but when you have 2 first-round picks and this is the loaded quarterback class that it is, take a shot, try to enjoy it. Like, he's a really damn good talent. Number 14, Patriots going to the SEC well and getting Keele Ringo to be their cornerback 1. Did it last time. I think it makes a lot of sense. Good steal at number 14. Number 15, you got Bryan Bresee. I've been sticking to this pick, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Might have done it for the Eagles. Not 100% sure, but I think Bryan Bresee would be an amazing addition. A hell of a talented interior. So big fan of what he brings to the table. Number 16, we got Michael Mayer. Yeah, I thought about Sedrick Van Pran here, but there's actually a lot of really good centers in this class, and you can get Ricky Stromberg maybe round 2. Michael Mayer is a beast. He is. He's one of those generational style tight ends. Maybe not on the level of Kyle Pitts, hence why I have him here at 16, but he's a freak. He's a freak, man. He is, in my opinion, Gronkowski 2.0. So I do love him to death, and I think that given the tight end usage, because obviously you gave a franchise tag to Mike Gesicki, like, he's going to be a very big addition to this team. Like, he has probably the biggest impact on this roster as any other. Number 17, you got Derick Hall. This guy's a freak. He is. He's just on another level, man. He's probably going to be a top 10 player on my board as well when all is said and done. Just the way it is, you need to continue boosting that pass rush. I don't trust Bud Dupree in the long run. And, I mean, you have him and Harold Landry, but now you have Derick Hall as well. Derick Hall is just a special, special talent, and I'm a big fan of what he's going to bring to the table. Number 18, you got Spencer Rattler, again, falling, but the talent sometimes is just too good to pass up. He's a very, very good player, but just no one gravitates towards him. And the best guy to basically switch that is Matt Ryan. So fingers crossed that's what can happen. And, we'll see. Now with the Vikings here at number 19, I'm going Myles Murphy, an edge out of Clemson. He's just too damn good to continue falling. Adding him, Zadarius Smith, as well as Daniil Hunter. That's going to be a nasty front, a great rotation in a division where offensive line is not yet at a good enough level. It's going to be the way that you win the division. Again, you're at number 19, wide receiver should be on the board, just continuing to give no excuses to Kirk. Maybe you could look at Tanner McKee here, but I'm going to be going with Myles Murphy. I think that it's just BPA, and I'm not in the mood to reach anymore. So Myles Murphy is number 20. We got Bijan Robinson out of Texas. Again, you're giving your quarterback that has a temper issue something that you want, and it's BPA. So I think it's a great pick. Bijan Robinson would be an amazing addition. Him, Keontae Ingram, James Conner, all could be a nasty backfield to be able to be used with the Cliff Kingsbury scheme. If you're at number 20, at least you did something in the playoffs. So it's worse than the year before, but at least you made it. Number 21, after losing Hollywood Brown, not really losing, you kind of won that trade. You're replacing him with someone a lot better and a lot younger, Jordan Addison out of Pittsburgh. He made Kenny Pickett look like a first rounder when all the other quarterbacks ended up going in the third. So as a disgruntled Steelers fan, you're welcome. It's just Jordan Addison's a really dynamic player, and it totally fits the mold. Number 22, we got Trenton Simpson here. I love Trenton Simpson. Just look at him. The guy looks like he's going to be a freaking badass football player as well in the NFL. Linebacker, I believe that you have 2 or 3 that are actually going to be up this coming year, if not the next. So Jermaine Pratt being one of them. I think Trenton Simpson could be a great guy to step into that locker room and just kick ass day one. There's some D tackles that were on the board as well, but this is a really good interior class. You can definitely maximize it in another round because linebacker is very thin this draft. And Trenton Simpson is one of those dudes who's actually worth a top 20 selection. Number 23. You picked up the 5th-year option on Titus Howard and you have Kenyon Green, but I still think investing in the offensive line is probably the best thing. Rather than paying another tackle $20-something million a year, Dawand Jones at Ohio State, he's 360 pounds at 6'8". We're talking about Daniel Failele being like a crazy size. This guy is not that far off, and he's a monster. So big fan of him. He let up, I think, only like 4 or 5 pressures last year. Just definitely somebody who has some crazy upside at that size. So again, continuing to build that offensive line. And if we do another round, probably continue to develop the defensive line as well. Number 24, the Cowboys are probably still going to be looking for interior help. Sedrick Van Pran doesn't need to play center exactly. He could be playing guard, but Tyler Smith's going to be moving to tackle, hopefully by that period of time. Sedrick Van Pran, the guard spot, the center spot is still, it's not secured. There's nothing secured about it. So Sedrick Van Pran could definitely be someone who steps in day one and kicks ass. Again, I think he's totally worth it. Might be one of the best centers that we've seen. Having 2 back-to-back years with top-end centers is pretty awesome. This dude was able to start for Georgia in the Natty, I believe, at 19 years of age. Big fan of what Sedrick Van Pran could bring to this team. Number 25, Nolan Smith out of Georgia. He's super developmental, but man, he is a talented ass dude. Big fan of Nolan Smith, and especially if you get to put him behind Khalil Mack, watch out. Just watch out. I really like it. I think that Henry Teotio could have been a really good option here as well, but I just want to show some love to Nolan Smith. But number 26, we got Tanner McKee. So yeah, you have a second first-round pick. Spend it on a late one on somebody who, rather than getting quarterback 4 or 5 at 9, you ended up getting like quarterback 6 or 7 at 26. I think it's quarterback 6. But regardless, Tanner McKee is a very talented quarterback. I hope he takes another step up because he's very talented. He's the only reason Stanford is even competitive. So definitely think he could be pretty damn good staying on the West Coast. Number 27, you got Andrew Voorhees here. I think he could be he's a guard tackle hybrid, man. I'm going to see if he can actually play tackle this year. And I hope he can, because I would love to stick him at right tackle to replace the former USC offensive tackle, Andrew Jackson. Wait, it's not Andrew. Austin Jackson, not Andrew Jackson. Austin Jackson. I think that he's absolutely phenomenal. He would be great to be as an understudy as well to Teron Armstead. So big fan of Andrew Voorhees here. Again, continuing to develop the offensive line. Don't think a center is exactly worth it at this point. And I thought about maybe going linebacker here. I mean, you got Channing Tindall there. You don't exactly need it. This team doesn't need much. So, and it looks like I mean, to be fair, I forgot which pick that they thought this was going to be, whether it was going to be the Niners pick or theirs. But I honestly think, like, after seeing some of the Tua videos where he's increased his ball velocity as well, I kind of want to believe in him, man. I know that a lot of people don't, but I think that I'm going to go back to believing in Tua. He has the work ethic. He's working on himself all the time. That's what you need to end up being a great pro in the long run. So I'm going to say that Andrew Voorhees is just another piece that you finally add in, and it's just going to be some kick-ass stuff, man. I really do think the Dolphins could be legitimatately competitive. Number 28, you got Parker Washington here. Finally, Green Bay goes a wide receiver in the first. Almost did technically, like what, pick 34 for not Calvin Austin, but for Christian Watson. Parker Washington he's just so dynamic. He could be one of those receivers that moves up and is like a top 10 selection. Jahan Dotson was number 16 this year. Parker Washington was honestly almost as good, if not better. So I like Parker Washington a lot. Want to show some love to him as well. Number 29, you got Jordan Battle here. Him as well as Kirby Joseph would be a really nice duo back there. I love them both. And honestly, Deshaun Elliott could work in there as well. Continue to make this team better and better and better. Number 30, Jahmyr Gibbs out of Alabama. Sticking to this again. I love Jahmyr Gibbs. He's just too dynamic of a player to just say, you know what, you don't deserve it. He's too damn good. Number 31, Tank Bigsby. Again, I do think the Buccaneers just continue to get those guys who will make the instant impact rather than the long-term impact. Tank Bigsby's a freak. I really do think he's going to have another bounce back year because he's the only thing that Auburn has. And that's a little bit unfortunate. And last but not least, number 32, we got Quentin Johnston here out of TCU, getting another monstrous weapon there for Josh Allen. Thought about guard again. This offensive line class isn't exactly the best, but I still love this draft. There's so many good players I didn't even get to mention, like Jalen Jones out of Texas A&M. He was in my top 10 in the last draft. There's just so much variability, and I'm so excited to see at the end of the year where these guys are going to end up because there's some really big all-stars in this draft. But that is going to be the video, guys. Thank you guys so much for always supporting and watching. See you on the far side. Peace.